Hello everyone, today we will embark on an emotional journey, exploring the life of a man who has inspired millions of hearts around the world, Joel Osteen. A pastor, a speaker, a best-selling author, he is a man who brings messages of hope, faith, and positivity in the most difficult times. If you love stories of rise, extreme challenges, and profound human moments, hit the bell and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any details. We will go through the brilliant peaks, the controversial depths, and the never-before-seen corners of his life. Get ready to explore. In the early 2000s, Joel Osteen was a household name, not only in Houston, Texas, but also around the world. With his infectious smile, deep, magnetic voice, and powerful preaching style, he has transformed Lakewood Church, a small church founded by his father, into one of the largest and most influential churches in the United States. Tens of thousands flock to Lakewood Church every weekend to hear him preach, while millions more tune in on television and the internet. His books, such as Your Best Life Now and Become a Better You, consistently top the New York Times bestseller list, bringing a message of positivity and faith in God that touches the hearts of those searching for meaning in life. Joel Osteen's success is like a shining beacon, illuminating the path for millions lost in the darkness of despair. But, like all beacons, his light also attracts storms, criticism, and doubts about his true motives. Behind the perfect smile and inspiring sermons, what makes Joel Osteen the center of controversy? What really happened behind his aura? Joel Osteen was born on March 5, 1963 in Houston, Texas, into a middle-class family where religious faith was the foundation of everything. His father, John Osteen, was a pastor and founder of Lakewood Church, and his mother, Dolores Osteen, was a devoted woman who supported her husband in building a religious community. However, Joel's life as a child was not always smooth. The Osteen family, despite appearing stable on the surface, often faced financial difficulties, especially in the early days when Lakewood Church was a small facility with limited resources. Joel, the youngest of 6 children, often watched his parents work tirelessly to maintain the church, sometimes sacrificing their own needs to serve the community. When Joel was 8 years old, his mother was diagnosed with hepatitis C, a disease that left her battling chronic pain and fatigue. Although she eventually overcame the disease, those years left a deep mark on Joel. He often saw his mother praying in tears, drawing strength from her faith to overcome the disease, and this instilled in him a deep respect for the power of faith. But the hardships did not stop there. The Osteens lived in a modest Houston neighborhood where the temptations of the streets, like gangs and drugs, were always present. Joel, shy and introverted, often felt out of place among his peers, who did not share his family's religious beliefs. To help support his family, Joel took on odd jobs as a child, such as cleaning the church after services, handing out flyers for Lakewood events, and even helping his mother with household chores. Those days, though difficult, forged in him a strong will and a quiet passion for helping others that would later become the foundation of his career. Joel Osteen never intended to become a pastor or a motivational speaker. In his younger years, he was a private man who preferred working behind the scenes rather than standing in front of a crowd. After graduating from high school, Joel attended Oral Roberts University in Tulsa, Oklahoma, majoring in radio and television communications, with the desire to work in the media industry. However, fate brought him back to Lakewood Church, where he began working as a television producer for his father's shows. Joel's first opportunity came by chance but fate in 1999, when his father, John Osteen, suffered a massive heart attack and was unable to preach. On a whim, John asked Joel to take his place at the pulpit to deliver a short sermon. Although initially hesitant and apprehensive, Joel accepted the challenge, stepping up to the pulpit with a pounding heart and a hastily prepared sermon. Joel's most important mentor was none other than his father, John Osteen, who saw potential in his son, even though Joel himself did not see it. John not only gave Joel the opportunity to stand in the pulpit, but also instilled in him the belief that he could connect with people through sincerity and compassion. Joel's early preaching sessions were not easy. He often trembled in front of a crowd, his voice sometimes faltered, and he worried that he could not match his father's charisma. However, what kept Joel going was the sincerity with which he delivered his message. Unlike traditional preachers with a stern tone, Joel brought a fresh style that focused on hope, positivity, and the belief that God has a good plan for everyone. He spent hours preparing for each sermon, reading the Bible, and writing detailed notes to ensure that his message resonated with his audience. That quiet perseverance and passion helped him overcome his initial struggles, gradually building a loyal following who were drawn to his simplicity and warmth. At his peak, Joel Osteen was not just a pastor, but a cultural phenomenon, a symbol of positivity and faith in a troubled world. After the death of his father in 1999, Joel officially took over Lakewood Church and quickly transformed it into one of the largest churches in the United States. With a capacity of more than 16,000 seats at the Compaq Center, a former sports arena in Houston, Joel's services attracted tens of thousands of people each week, from local families to people from all over the world. His sermons were broadcast on television, reaching millions of viewers in more than 100 countries, making him one of the most influential pastors of his time. Joel's most notable achievement is probably his 2004 book, Your Best Life Now, which sold over 8 million copies and spent over 200 weeks on the New York Times bestseller list. The book, with its message of staying positive and trusting in God's plan, has changed the lives of millions of people, from those struggling financially to those searching for meaning in life. What sets Joel Osteen apart is not only the scale of his influence, but also his unique style. With his deep voice, infectious smile, and approachable storytelling, Joel has the ability to make people feel like they are talking to a close friend. He doesn't focus on sin or punishment, but instead emphasizes hope, forgiveness, and the ability to overcome adversity. His preaching style, which combined sincerity, humor, and a touch of Southern charm, made him an irreplaceable icon. Joel also maintained a remarkable humility, often staying after services to chat with members of the community, listening to their stories, and sharing heartfelt moments. He also used media wisely, leveraging television, books, and later social media to spread his message, making him one of the first pastors to bring religion into the digital age. Joel's influence extended beyond religion to popular culture, inspiring those seeking light in the darkest of times. Though beloved by millions, Joel Osteen has not been immune to major controversies and conflicts throughout his career. In 2017, an event rocked his image and caused the public to question the validity of his message. When Hurricane Harvey devastated Houston, causing severe flooding and leaving thousands homeless, Joel's Lakewood Church was heavily criticized for not opening its doors immediately to shelter those affected. Social media posts circulated of Compaq Center closed, while other churches in the area opened their doors to the public. Harsh criticism from the public and media suggested that Joel put his personal interests and church wealth above the needs of the community. Although Lakewood Church later opened and became a major relief center, Joel's initial silence and delay in responding left an indelible mark in the eyes of many. This conflict came not only from the public, but also from within the religious community itself. Some pastors and theologians criticized Joel for his preaching style, calling it the prosperity gospel, a philosophy they said focused too much on material success and ignored the deeper aspects of faith. These criticisms deepened Joel's sense of injustice. He felt misunderstood, that his message of hope and positivity was being distorted into something superficial. In private meetings with his team, Joel expressed frustration that his efforts to help the community, such as giving millions of dollars to charities, were being overshadowed by the constant criticism. Joel's decision not to respond publicly to these criticisms was a difficult one. He chose to stay quiet, focusing on continuing his mission, but his silence led many to see him as shirking responsibility. This sense of injustice, combined with pressure from the media and whispers from his peers, led to sleepless nights for Joel, where he wondered if he was truly on the path God had chosen for him. Conflicts with the media and critics were not his only challenge. Joel also faced pressure from his own community, who expected him to be perfect and a constant model of positivity. In private, Joel once shared with his wife, Victoria, that he felt trapped in a gilded cage where he had to smile and inspire even as he struggled with personal doubts and pain. Hurricane Harvey, while not a total collapse, marked a turning point in Joel's career, forcing him to confront difficult questions about his purpose and legacy. Yet he refused to give up. Instead, he continued to preach, to write, and to build his community, but with a more cautious, more acute awareness of the downsides of the spotlight. After the controversy and public pressure, Joel Osteen did not choose to withdraw from the spotlight completely, but he changed his approach, focusing on quieter contributions and a less public life. While he continued to lead Lakewood Church and appear on television, Joel began to spend more time with his family, especially his wife Victoria and their two children, Jonathan and Alexandra. Quiet evenings at home in Houston, where the family would eat dinner, pray, and talk, became some of the most precious moments of his life. Joel also began to engage in charitable activities more privately, away from the media spotlight. He supports organizations that help children in need, provides scholarships to young people, and funds community programs in Houston, especially those that help those affected by natural disasters. These contributions, while not widely publicized, are Joel's way of finding meaning in his mission, his way of responding to criticism with actions rather than words. Joel also spends time writing, recording his deep thoughts on faith, life, and the lessons he has learned from his trials. His new books, Peaceful on Purpose and Rule Your Day, focus more on finding inner peace and managing emotions, reflecting his changing outlook on life. He once told Victoria that his writing is not just about sharing with the world, but also about talking to himself, finding forgiveness and peace after years of turmoil. Joel occasionally appears at charity events or small interviews, but he no longer seeks the spotlight as before. He chooses to live a quieter life, focusing on building relationships with his family and community. The reason he has not returned to the spotlight with the same intensity is not because he is afraid of failure, but because he has realized that true happiness lies not in the number of followers, but in sincere moments with loved ones. Joel also became concerned about protecting his legacy, not only for himself, but also for Lakewood Church and the Osteen family. He supported his son Jonathan in taking over some of the responsibilities at the church, ensuring that the message of hope and faith would continue through the next generation. He also became involved in projects to preserve Lakewood's history, such as building an archive center to document the church's early years when his father was still alive. These contributions, while not receiving much public attention, were Joel's way of ensuring that the values he and his family had built would not be forgotten. One quiet evening, sitting with Victoria and watching the children talk, Joel once said, "I don't need the whole world to know my name. I just want to know that I did something meaningful, that I helped someone find light in the darkness." Joel's life behind the spotlight is a testament to a search for balance between fame and meaning, between recognition and sincerity. When he turned 62, Joel Osteen began to face health problems that made him reflect more deeply on his life. He suffered from a non-fatal but persistent disease, rheumatoid arthritis, which caused pain in the joints of his hands, feet, and shoulders. The pain not only caused him physical discomfort, but also made him worry about losing the flexibility that he cherished as a public speaker. Whenever the pain recurred, Joel would become more thoughtful. He would sit alone in his study, looking out at the garden with flowers that Victoria tended, and reflect on the past, the lectures, the books, the arguments, and the happy moments with his family that he had missed. Old age for Joel is not only a physical decline, but also a journey to face the public's oblivion. The people who once flocked to Lakewood Church, who once lined up to buy his books, are now drawn to new speakers, new messages. Some still remember him with emotion and regret, sending handwritten letters expressing admiration, but the majority of the public seems to have turned their attention to other stars. This sometimes makes Joel feel lonely, but he chooses to accept it with a surprising calm. Life is a journey, and sometimes you have to learn to let go to find peace, he once told Victoria in a rare moment when he opened up. Victoria, when mentioning her husband's health, could not hide the pain in her heart. In a private conversation with a close friend, she once shared, "Watching Joel struggle with pain, I just wish I could take some of it away from him. He always tried to smile, always tried to inspire, but I knew he was afraid. Not afraid of death, but afraid of not being able to continue his mission, not being able to stand on the podium to bring hope to people. Those words, full of love and pain, were a testament to the deep bond between the two, and also a reminder of the fragility of human beings, even when they were once the brightest stars. Joel faced old age by slowing down, cherishing the small moments that he had overlooked in his busy years. He began to keep a diary, recording his thoughts on faith, on family, and on the lessons he learned from his failures. Although those pages were not intended for publication, they were a way for him to find peace, a way to dialogue with himself and with God. Joel Osteen's legacy is not only in his best-selling books or his sermons that resonated around the world, but also in the values he instilled: faith, positivity, and compassion. Lakewood Church, under his leadership, became a spiritual refuge for millions, from those struggling financially to those searching for meaning in life. He also left a valuable spiritual legacy to his children, Jonathan and Alexandra, who continue his mission at Lakewood. His philanthropic projects, from supporting community centers to providing scholarships for young people, are a testament to his commitment to creating positive change. While the public may forget him, Joel's legacy will live on through the people he inspired, the stories he told, and the values he instilled. If his diaries were ever published, they would be an inspiration to the next generation who would want to understand that behind every success lies a difficult yet meaningful journey. Joel Osteen is not just a pastor or a speaker, but a man with big dreams, deep pain, and proud victories. Behind the bright smile and inspiring sermons is a man who has experienced hardships from childhood, the pressures of fame, and internal battles to stay true to his beliefs. He is a storyteller and motivator, and above all, a man who knows how to love, forgive, and learn from mistakes. Have we, who have listened to him, who have found hope in his words, really treated him fairly? Have we been too quick to criticize him just because he did not meet our expectations? This question is not just for Joel Osteen, but for all of us who live in a world where fame comes and goes as quickly as the wind. Let's stop for a moment and think. Do we appreciate people like Joel enough? People who have dedicated their lives to bringing joy, to inspiring, to making our lives more meaningful. Joel's story is a reminder that behind every person is a journey, and it is our responsibility to honor those journeys. Guys, hit the bell, subscribe to the channel, and share this story to spread the values that Joel Osteen left behind. Live with compassion, appreciate those around you, and remember that each of us has a story worth telling. Has a story worth telling. Has a story worth telling.